So good evening, everyone. This is a pre-recording. This is the October Barn Quilt card kit together. Normally done at the end of the month, and you're watching this at the end of the month, but I am pre-recording it because I will be out of town on the 31st. So I am recording it now, and it will be scheduled to air on Facebook on the Chirpy Card Maker of Quilts page on the 31st of October at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's get busy. These are the two barn quilts that we're going to be making tonight. And because this is a paid kit, I will not be going over any cutting instructions. This is just to show you how I put them together. If you're interested in joining the Barn Quilt kit club, I guess you would call it, there is a Google form that you can fill out. However, we will be taking a break the month of December, revening back in January of 2026. And so I will be sharing details of the changes very soon. Next year, it will be every other month instead of every month. There are other changes coming, so look for an update. But maybe if you are watching this and it looks like something you would like to give a try, please reach out to me. So let's get started. Okay, so the kit is called Whirly Wreaths and Peppermint Trees. And the first block that we're going to work on is the wreath. And these are very miniature quilt blocks. Usually they're at their largest 2 1/4 inches square. So here I have my layer or my frame. And here is the square that I am going to start out with. So I am going to just use my card here as a little something I can follow. I've got some old olive triangles. I've got, I believe it is Secret C triangles. And then I have a mix of real red, squares, and cherry cobbler. So I am just going to sort my colors right now. And I am going to start with a triangle of old olive. And I'm going to be working I'm going to start working in the center square, the upper center square. It's good to have a small tipped glue applicator for the small pieces that we're working on. So I'm going to just put some glue on the back. This triangle is going to sit in the lower right corner of that center square. And to make it easier and your hand go to the same place each time, I am going to turn this counterclockwise once. And I am going to put another old olive triangle in the exact same place. By doing this, we are using muscle memory. And I feel, for me, it makes the piecing a lot easier. Okay, so we're going to turn it again. Put another old olive triangle in that lower right hand corner, and I'm using my pencil lines as a guide to help help me stay straight. One more time, and we'll put this last old olive triangle in place. The corner of my triangle is going right in the corner of the square, so it fits in there perfectly. Okay, so that is the very first step. And I am going to try to zoom in a little bit, see if that is easier for you to follow. The only thing, maybe right there. Okay. Now we're going to put in our secret C triangles, and where these are going to sit, the longest side of my triangle is going to run along the side of where the pencil line is. And I'm going to slide this down in between these two old olive pieces until it just fits really snug. Just like that. And we will keep turning our block counterclockwise until, getting way out of, I'm glad I can bring it down closer to me because it's easier for me to work. So that's what we're going to do. So a little bit of glue on the back. Again, the longest side of my triangle is going to be on my left, and it's just going to fit. I'm just going to slide my triangle. I still want it to stay straight, so I'm just going to slide it down until it wedges itself in between those two old olive triangles. And we're just going to keep working right around the old olive pieces. Okay, just keep turning it. What I'm hoping will happen is when this is scheduled to air on the 31st, I'm hoping to be sitting watching it myself, and I'm hoping that if you have any questions while you're watching it, if you post your questions in the comments, we can all hang out together and I can answer them for you. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. I'm so used to just doing everything live. So the recording is something new for me. So I had an extra triangle there. So there is the beginning of our wreath. And what we want to look for now is the real red squares. And these real red squares are going to sit in the corners of our 4 outer squares. So they're going to tuck right into here. Okay. So I am just going to put a little tiny dot of glue because these squares are very tiny. So I'm just going to put little dots of glue there. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to pick up that real red square, and I'm just going to set it right down there in the corner. I'm going to turn it. Again, I am going to the same place each time. One more. So there we have the real red squares. And now the cherry cobbler squares, they're going to sit right in the valley that is created by our two triangles. And they're going to be on point, which means they're going to be sitting like a diamond, okay? So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue again in these little valleys. Pick up my cherry cobbler square with my take your pick tool and set it right down in the valley like that. And I'm just going to continue to go around. The take your pick tool is so nice because it's like an extra, just another extension of your hand, your fingers, and it just makes piecing so nice and easy. So there is the wreath. Now, what I would like to do is I am going to erase any pencil lines that are showing. And then the next thing would be to run this through an embossing folder to add texture. I have a block already made, so I will actually finish this one up after I'm done recording, because I have one ready to go. And I will show you how I embellished it. Now, in the pictures for the PDF, you see the embellishments that I used to finish this quilt block, and those things are not included in the kit. Okay, I just wanted to, because it's a wreath, I felt like it needed, you know, something else on it, like a bow and stuff. So what I would do is I would run this through an embossing folder and give it some texture, and then I will glue that to the frame square. And then, so I'm going to put this up here and finish it later. Let me show you. This is my square right here. And I am going to finish it off. I'm going to put a little bow that I tied with the linen thread. Oh, come on, get off of there. There we go. This bow is going to, let's see. This card here, the wreath is on point. So I think I'm going to just keep it square this time. So I've got my bow, and then I'm going to bring in the peppermint red and white adhesive backed peppermints. And I am just going to pop 4 of these large ones. You get, I think, 3 different sizes. And while it's square, I think I'm just going to go up. Whoops. He didn't want to stick. Come on. We'll put you down here. And one more over here. And our first quilt block is done. I have dimensionals on the back. I have my card bases already put together. You will cut down your embossed card front and your card insert. I used some of the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper just to zhuzh it up a little bit. And so we'll just take these backings off. And, okay, I'm going to have to kind of hold this up to my, so that I can make sure I am not wonky, because that is kind of like a given no matter how hard I try. Okay, so there is our wreath square, and I have one that's on point. So you can decide which layout you like best. These will make really pretty Christmas cards. So there you go, that's the first one. And now let's work on the second quilt block. And this is our peppermint trees. So here's the one that's finished. All we have to do is add the embellishments, but I'm going to set that right there so that I can use it as a guide. Here is my layer, my frame. Here are my pieces, and here is the square that we're going to work on. So I just want to make sure that I am in camera. Making a video, I don't have my laptop to look over and see if I'm in view or not. So I hope that last block I stayed within your view. Let's get all of our pieces here. The very first pieces that we're going to use are these cherry cobbler rectangles. Okay, and I am going to start by adhering one of these vertically. I'm going to use the line, the pencil line, to line up my strip, but I actually want it to be vertically into the second square. So we'll use that pencil line to help keep us straight. Whoops. My sleeve is getting caught on my paper here, moving things around. And you don't want to go below the pencil line that you've got drawn horizontally. So once we've got our red pieces down, we'll flip the piece over and we'll snip off any of the red that is hanging over the edge. Again, I am going to turn my block counterclockwise once, and I'm going to that same spot to put that piece down, and I'm just going to keep turning it. And one more. I'm not sure how to edit videos, so this will get posted just the way it is tonight. Okay, so I'm still in camera. All right. Now what we want to do is just to keep with the turning, I'm going to come back to the beginning, and I have some triangles that are my little trees. Again, I have 2 Old Olive and I have 2 Secret Sea. And the trees are going to go in each of these rectangles. Just like that. You're just going to center them, okay? Leaving room for your, the trunks of your tree. So let's get these in place. And I'm going to just keep turning it, and I'm going to work in this lower left-hand quadrant. Okay. Turn it again. So these are very whimsical trees. Like that. And one more. Then we will put the trunks of our trees in. Okay, let's come back to the beginning. And I have some early espresso tree trunks. We'll glue these down, and then we will flip our block over and we will trim. I'm just going to put some glue down just like that. You know what? I think I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. Okay. Just going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue down all the way around. Turn it. And one more. And you can see that my tree trunks are longer than the background. So we're going to turn it over. And if you can see, I have a lot of little pieces beyond that pool party square. So I'm just going to snip these off. And in the center of our little forest of trees, we're going to put these little tiny half square triangles. And right here in the center, let's see if I can bring this up so that you can see this. Okay. So right here in this center square, I am going to put a half square triangle with the angle leaning to the left, and I will turn it and put it in the exact same place, and then we are going to create like a peppermint or a pinwheel swirl in the center. So I know that my slant is going to be to the left, so I'm going to put a teeny tiny bit of glue right there. I'm going to pick up my triangle with my Take Your Pick tool. This is where it really comes in handy, especially with these tiny pieces. I'm going to line up one side of my triangle with this side of the red rectangles. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to turn it. And my glue, my little dot of glue is going to go in the exact same place that I did it before. Pick up that triangle. Lay it in place. Notice that my corners are coming to a point right here. Okay. So turn it once again. Glue in the same place. Here I want to clean up my glue. There we go. Gonna turn it, and we have one last tiny half square triangle, and that glue's probably gonna be a little too much. Okay, clean that off a little bit. These are very small triangles. And there is our little peppermint trees. They are all done. Again, at this point, I will put this in an embossing folder, give it some texture, layer it to this framed square right here. And I will do that a little later. Here is my finished one that's ready to go. All we need to do is put some peppermints on there. I'll bring in my card base. This should be red. In your kit, you got a red card base and you got a green. And I used my red for something. And so I've got a green base. Oh, I think I used it for my alternate. So this one's going to go on the green card base. But you may be using your red card base. Okay. And let's take the backings off. Now this one I found, I don't really know if it works putting it on point. I guess you could, huh? It's just as whimsical if they're upside down and sideways. So let's put this one. Let's do that. Let's get whimsical. Let's really get whimsical. Let's put this down here. Okay. And then bring back in our peppermints. I want to get my glue bottle sealed up here. Okay. And let's put a peppermint, a big peppermint right in the center, right on top of our pinwheel. Isn't that fun? So fun. And then we're going to use the small peppermints and we're going to top our trees with these tiny ones. These are just so festive. So cute. And there are our little forest of trees. So this would be the October kit. And you don't have to get a kit. There is an option of just getting the PDF and then you use your own supplies. When you get the kit, you do have to cut all the triangles. I give you the cardstock and cutting instructions, and then you follow the cutting instructions to create your quilt blocks. Now, in the PDF, there is instructions for an alternate. And this is what I did with the wreath. This is a fun little layout here where we cut the middle out of the front of our card base, and I lined up my wreath on point, and then I knew where to set this panel here, and then the wreath, the dimensionals on the back of the wreath pick up this side here. So it looks something like that on the inside. And then I use the alphabet dies. So my O in joy is actually the wreath. And then, so it says joy. So that's an alternate. And then the same layout with the trees. Whoops, it goes this way. And it opens like that. And so that's the alternate instructions for just a different idea that you can do with the blocks that we used. Okay. Now I want to show you what the November barn quilts are going to look like. These were inspired by a designer series paper that will be in the online exclusives beginning in November. It's called Elegant Pine Snowflakes Designer Series paper. The colors in that DSP is what inspired these cards. And this is what November looks like. I wanted to do some winter cards for you since we're not going to be doing a card kit in December. And January of next year, we're going to be preparing for holidays in February and such. So I didn't want to miss out on an opportunity to do some winter colored barn quilts. And so this is November. So thank you so much for catching this video for the October barn quilts, and I hope that you had fun creating them. And oh, these are all okay. I've got a lot going on here. Let's bring in another wreath. I hope you had fun creating these cards. And I hope that you're looking forward to November as much as I am. Have a very blessed rest of your evening. And we'll be checking in and talking to you soon. Bye.